Hello, my fashion ladies. Are you looking out for a gown that can serve multiple purposes, such as a casual gown, an official gown, or a dinner gown? Why not try this out? And right here in this video, I'll be showing you how I achieved this look. And this video will be comprising of both the cutting and the sewing tutorial. And if this video sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to watch this video to the end. So, I'll be marking out my shoulder measurement, which is 15 divided by 2. I'll be marking out 7.5. And for the shoulder slope, I'll be marking out 1 inch. And this is very important because your shoulder is slanted and not straight. I'll be going out to mark the vertical measurement, my bust point, which is as 10 inches. And for my half length, I'm making use of 15.5 inches. And this can vary for everyone. So I'll be writing out half length, and this is my bust point. Now for the neckline, I'll be going in by 3.5 inches, which is 3.5. I'll take my ruler and my marker and mark out the slope line. I'll be measuring my shoulder right from that 1 inch which I've marked down. And my shoulder is, my round arm is 7.5. And this 7.5 which I marked for my shoulder, I'll be marking this out on this point, and I'm doing this so I could achieve that perfect straight line. So I'll go ahead and draw out the straight line. I realized I made a mistake. I marked out 6.5 inches instead of 7.5 inches. Now from this 7.5, I'll be marking out my midpoint, the midpoint which is about 3.75, and right from this 3.75, I'll be going in by half inches. And I'm going in by half inches because the front armhole is a little bit inward, because if you don't go in by half inch, you have your armhole bobbing out at the front. So I'll go in and take my tape rule and measure out the round measurement, and at this point I have 9 inches. And I'll be taking the midpoint of 9 inches, which is 4.5 inches. So I'll go out and mark the 4.5 inches right on this side. I'll be going out to take my bust nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 8, which divided by 2 is 4 inches. And I'll be marking out 4 inches both on the bust point and the half length. I'll go ahead and connect with a straight line. I also go ahead and connect this nipple to nipple measurement which I've marked to that midpoint on the round armhole. I advise you make use of your curved ruler, of your curved French curve. Now right from this place, I'll be taking half inch on this side and half inches on this side, and this will be my armhole bust. And right from here, I'll be marking out by 1 inches because I want it to sit pretty well on my bust. So I'll go ahead and connect these lines together, and I took that 1 inch dart so that it could rest well on the bust. Now from this side also, I'll come down by 3/4 of an inch. You can come down by 1 inch, and right on this side I'm marking out half inch on this side and half inch on this side. And this is because I am drawing a classic princess dart. If it wasn't a classic princess dart and I wanted it to be more protruding, I'll have marked out about 1.5 inch on the other side. This is a classic princess dart. Now go ahead and go in with my marker and give this a good curve. Now from this side, in order not to be short of fabric, the 1 inch which I've taken from the side, I'll be adding it to this side. So I'll come here and measure out 1 inch. You have to do this so you don't go short of fabric, because you've deducted 1 inch from that side, so you have to replace that 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and give it a new armhole curve. So this is what we have. Now I'll be going ahead to take the horizontal measurement. My bust is 36 divided by 4, which is 9, plus the extra 1 inch which I've removed from this side. I'll be marking it on this side, and I have 10 inches. I'll be coming down to my half length where I'll be taking my waist measurement, and I have 7.5 for my waist, plus this half inch, 1 inches which I've taken for the dart. I'll be replacing it. So I'll go ahead and go in with my ruler and draw this. Now for the neckline, I'll also be coming down by 3.5 inch. So my neckline is 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. So now we are done drafting. So you go ahead and make use of your scissors and cut out the pattern which you have drafted out. At this point, I'll be stopping here, and as you can see, I also went inward again in the neckline by ½ inch. So I have my neck to be 4 inches wide and 3.5 inches long. So I have this. So before I cut that part, I'll be opening this up. So I want to draw the curved line. So on this, I'll be coming down by 6.5 inch. If you don't want yours that deep, you can go down by 5 inch. This is based on your preference. And on this side, I'll be coming in by 2.5 inch. That's why I want that particular side to stop. So I make use of my ruler and draw a straight line. At this point, I'm making use of the pencil and I mark that point out. So you go ahead and give it that shape you want. You could give it any shape you want. For me, I went ahead with this pencil to use it to draw out the shape I want. And this is dependent on you, but I just want to do something that looks like that. So since I'll stop at that place that I've marked out, and I went ahead to use my pencil to also connect it back to the armhole, but I didn't want it just this regular slant, so I decided to give it this curve that looks like something like a C. So I went ahead to give it this curve just to make it a little bit stylish. So just so it can be so visible, I went ahead to use the marker to trace it out, and like I said, I went ahead to give this side a stylish curve. So you go ahead and cut this out. Now this is dependent on how you want it to be. For me, I want to cut it till I get to the armhole side. Just watch what I'm saying. Now since I've drafted out the pattern out, so I went ahead to fold it. Now I can go ahead to cut out the busts. So I'll go ahead and cut out this which I've drafted. So you have to use your scissors and cut this gently and cut out that which you have drafted out. Now this is what it looks like. Now this is the upper part. You can decide to make yours like this if you want it, but for me, I just want to cut that side out. But for me, I want to reduce the side. So I went ahead to fix this back. I went ahead to use my tape to fix this back. So I went ahead to cut this side which I have drafted as a straight line, and this is optional if you don't want to use this. And if you want to use this, it's fine. So it's optional. But for me, this is how I wanted it to look like. So now I've cut this out. So this is what it will be looking at like when I'm done. So it's still the same thing whether you cut the parts off or you don't. Now I'll be going up by ½ inch, and I usually do this at this side because by the time you sew this down back, you have that side of your armhole bulging out. So if you want it to sit pretty well, so just go out and mark out ½ inch, then cut this. I have this slanted line, as this will help it to sit pretty well on this. So let's draw the side collar. So I went ahead to place this on a pattern paper, on a new pattern paper, and cut out the same design which I have on the neckline. So you just go ahead and use your scissors to cut out the same design you have, and based on where I want my collar for this side to stop, and for me, for the determinant, I want it to stop at this side which I've marked out, and this is optional. Like I said, it is based on where you want it to stop. For me, I want it a little extended than that of the video which I'm trying to make. So now I've cut that point where I want it to stop. So let me just trim this out. So you go ahead and then mark what size you want it to be. For me, I want it to be as wide as 2 inches. So I'll be taking these 2 inches. I'll be taking these 2 inches down, and down to the side, I have my 2 inches. I'll go ahead and use my pencil first to mark that out because I want to clean it if I don't like what I have drafted out. So now I'm done. So I'll keep doing this till when I'm done and till I've gotten what I want. So this is what I want now. And after cleaning, I've gotten the shape which I want. So I'll go ahead and go in with my marker and draw out the shape which I want. And this is exactly what I want it to look like. So you go ahead and trim off that, and I'm done trimming, and this is what it looks like. Placing on the pattern back, this is what I'll be having. As you can see, this is what it will look like exactly. So let's go to the back. For the back, I just marked out my bust point, my half length, and my zipper allowance, which I left 1.5 inch for. So I'm going to take my round bust measurement, which is 9 here, and I'll go ahead and draw the armhole. So this is the back. For the neckline here, I'm coming down by 1 inch for the back. And don't forget, we took our neckline to be 4 inches. I took extra half inch, so I have my neckline to be 4 inches. I've drawn that. Now I'll go ahead and mark out my bust to bust, my bust span, which is 4. I'll mark this, and I'll go ahead and use the ruler to draw a straight line like this. And for the dart, I'll go out by half inch on both sides, and I don't need to come down by 1 inch on the side because this does not have a breast. This is just flat at the back. So you go ahead and draw your darts. Don't mind me, I took 1 inch on the side, so I'm going ahead to correct this. So I have the half inch on the side, and this is what it looks like. Now I'm done. I'll just go ahead and take my horizontal measurement for my bust. I have 9, which is 36 divided by 4. On my waist, I have 7.5, and plus this 1 inch which I've taken for the darts. I'll go ahead and mark this out back. So you go ahead and connect with a straight line. And for the sewing allowance, I'll be adding it directly on the pattern. I don't want to add it here. I'll be going ahead to add it directly on the fabric, sorry. Now for this back, you go inward by half inch because you don't want your zip bulging or folding at the back. We want it to sit pretty flat at the back. So this is what we have. So now I'll go ahead and cut it. And after cutting, this is what I have for the back. So let's go ahead to the sewing tutorial. And this is what I've got. I added half inches for this joining and half inch. I forgot to add half inch on the waist half length side. So I just went ahead with it like that. And here added extra 1.5 inches and half inches round for sewing. And half inches, this is the upper side, and added half inch round. And for this side, so I added half inches round, but by the side I added 1.5 inches. That is for the allowance, and added half inch round. That's just half inch round for the sewing allowance. By the time you join, that will help to join that side. That is the half inch, and this is what I'll be using for the down. I have both the front and back, which I've drafted. So I'll go ahead and take this other parts, and this is how I'll be taking it down to my sewing machine and sewing it half inches round. And for this, I'll be using this to turn it, and I'll be turning it. I'll be sewing half inches round, and I'll turn it to the other side. And now I'm gonna head to sew half inch round, and I stop stitched on it so that that could lay flat. And this is what it looks like after turning it inward. And so we have this. Look at this, and after turning it inward, this is what it will look like. But for this side, I'll go ahead and use a gum to glue that down to the fabric. And now for the front, I've gone ahead to join. As you can see, this is what it's looking like. This is a classic princess dart, unlike the normal posture princess dart that I'll be putting in. This is classy. This is mostly for official wears. And I've gone ahead to cut 2 pieces for this side. That is the collar side. I went ahead to add paper stay, and I'll be sewing that half inches round. And I'll be using this same one to turn it in. And for this one, I'll be turning it in. I didn't have add a paper stay. And I'll be adding this side also. I'll be sewing this down to this side. So after doing that, you can see what I've done. I've gone ahead to sew it by half inches, as you can see. And I've sewn this other side down to by half inches down, half inches. And so this is what you can see. This is where I stopped. And so I'll be using this to turn it in. I'll be sewing it down by half inch and turn it inwardly like this, which you can see. So I'll do the same thing. And so I've gone off camera to do this. I can see I've done it inwardly. As you can see, this is where I stopped. You can see I didn't sew on that side. So after doing that, so when I turn it in, make sure to turn it in. Or if you want to use the lining, you can use the lining to like line the whole thing. But after turning it in, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and use a gum to make that stick down on it. As you can see, I've used a gum to stick that down to the fabric, and you can see what it is looking like. It is looking so perfect. I'll go ahead and use gum also to hold that side down. And you can see what the front is looking like. I've gone ahead to attach the down piece to the up piece, and this is what it is looking like. And also the back, I've gone ahead to also add my zipper off camera and attached it down to the up and down pieces together, as you can see. So now make sure those two lines are meeting, and for the zipper part, you cut this side out, you cut this out and fold it this way, as you can see. Then go ahead and top stitch on that side. For the back, you can see I added a paper stay to it because it is stretchy and I don't want it to fold by the time I'm adding the zip. So you go ahead and join both the back shoulder and the front shoulder together. Make sure they are meeting each other perfectly, and you go ahead and stitch them down by 1/2 inches. I've gone ahead to stitch them down. I've also taken my body measurement offline and off camera, and this is what it looks like. And as you can see the back, this is what the inside looks like. I've also gone ahead to use a gum to glue that down, and this is what it is looking like. I've used gum to gum it down to the fabric so it doesn't move, and this is what it looks like. Now I'll be going now for the back. Don't forget, you have to leave allowance, you have to leave opening so for ease. So now you go ahead and fold the back like this and sew it round, and take it round, sew it just this way, which I've seen. Now I've gone off camera to sew it, and this is what it looks like, and this is how you'll be sewing the back round. And I've gone ahead also to fold it down. Now let's go ahead to cut it the sleeve, and this has two sleeves. One is straight sleeve and the other is looking like a flare with a slit. Now for the normal straight sleeve, I went ahead to take my elbow measurement, which is 13, and the full length of this paper is 24. So I'll be writing this elbow and marking out full length. So I'll go ahead and mark the arm origin. I'll be marking out 9 inches, and for the cap height, I'll be marking out 3.5. And the cap width, I'll be marking out also 3.5. So I'll go ahead and shaping this out to draw my calf. So now I'll be taking the round measurement. At this side, I have 8 for the measurement. I have 7 for the measurement plus 1 extra inches, which is 8. And for here, my round hand, I have 5.5 plus 1 extra inches for sewing allowance, which is 6.5. For the round hand, I have 4 plus extra 1 inch, which makes it 5. So I'll go ahead and connect this. The extra one line you are seeing is this extra sewing allowance, and this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and cut it on my fabric, and I've cut this. I use this chantilly lace fabric, and you can see what it looks like, but I don't want to hem it down, so I'll just go ahead and cut out the pattern on the chantilly lace, as you can see. So there is no need to turn the hand. As you can see this, I'll do it for both two of it, and this is what it looks like. So we'll be going ahead to drafting the second hand, which is the flay one. And don't forget, the same way which you drafted out 9, you do the same thing just as the other second hand, but the difference is that this is wider. So I'll go ahead for this down. Instead of marking out 4, I'll be marking out 9 because I want it to be a little bit flay at the end. So you go ahead and also do the same thing, but this I want it longer than 24, but I have 24 for my pattern, but I want it to be as long as 27. So on the fabric, I'll be adding extra 3 inches. Then I want this to just give it a little flay effect that goes inward and outward. So I just came and mark about 7.5 inches. So I will make this have this kind of design for this side. As you can see, I made it a little bit outward, that is a little bit flay, like A shape for the hand. So this is what it looks like. So I just wanted it to have this effect. I just went ahead to just shaping it a bit again. Now after cutting, this is what I have And if you can see what we are trying to achieve, there's a slit in it. So from the midpoint, I'll be marking 3 inches for my slit, and also I'll be marking the 3 inches here on this side so I can achieve that perfect straight line. So I'll go ahead and draw out the straight line, and after drawing it out, this is what I have. So you go, I don't mind the other side of my pattern paper. I was trying to use it to draft something else. So now I've slitted this, and this is what I have, and I've gone ahead to add, like I said, I want it to be as wide, long as 27 inches. I added 3 extra inch to the fabric, which makes it 27. So let me show you. You can see I have 27 inches, and I went ahead to add half inch for the joining on that side, which I've slitted. And I did the same thing. I added the 3 extra inches and half inches for the joining. So I'll be doing it for both hand sides. Now I'll be wanting the slit to stop at 13. I'll be sewing down 13. So my slit will be starting at from 13 inches downward. So I'll mark that out. So take the two parts halves together and join them this way. And you go ahead and take it down to your sewing machine and stitch it by half inches and stop at this point which you've marked out. That's it. I'll be stopping at this 13 which I have marked out where I wanted to stop. So I've gone ahead to take it to my sewing machine and I've sewed that down to it. As you can see what it is looking like, I've sewn it by half inches. And you can see I've sewn it by half inches, and I stopped exactly at that 13 inches. You can see where I stopped, exactly that place which I've marked. You can make yours 15 based on the length. And now I'll be folding this by half inches inward. I'll be taking this and also fold that side inward. So I've gone ahead to sew it inwardly, and this is what it looks like when you are done sewing. So now we are done. So you can see I've sewn that part. As you can see what it is looking like, you can see it's coming out so perfect, and it's making it have a very good slit and a good opening. I've notched the midpoint of the armhole. Make sure to notch the midpoint, as this will help you when you're trying to fold it. So now I'm done. This is what it will look like when you fold it. Now you go ahead and sew that down by half inch. I'll sew it that way. And I've also done the same thing to the other hand. I've sewn it down, taking my measurement. So you bring the both of them together. Yeah, but I forgot to add 1 extra inch for sewing allowance. Unlike that which I added on the chantilly, as you can see, this 1 inch, I forgot to add it on the flay hand. So you go ahead and turn it inward, and you do the same thing. Go ahead and also turn this outwardly, that you turn it to the front, and fix the both of them inside each other, just this way. You can see me doing, and this is what it will look like, and this is what it will look like. And at this point I'll be folding that point. So make sure both of them align equally, and you sew around it first. And after you're done taking it to the machine, I'm done sewing it. This is what it will look like. As you can see, it's already giving that arm and effect. So you go ahead, I've gone ahead to stitch on both of them. So you take it to the fabric and stitch, and this is what it should be looking like. And this is the final result, guys. You can see it is giving. You can see the neckline. It is so beautiful, and I hope by now you know how to sew this. This can be rocked in any occasion, casual, dinner, or official. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end, and I hope by now you could sew this stylish gown and you found this tutorial really helpful. Stay tuned guys, I still remain your beauty, DIY and fashion channel. Love you all.